Mi gente, I've got the perfect freebie for you. So I just dropped a 17-page workbook to help you get your mind right, especially in this climate of so much uncertainty. So if you are an aspiring or current entrepreneur and you're just feeling stuck, you're not feeling too good about what the future holds, and all the turmoil, the politics, all of it is just throwing you off your game, this workbook is actually going to act as a journal for you. It covers goal setting, efficiency tips, how to manage your time, financial management tips, strategies on how to wrap your head around the next big thing that's coming down the pipeline to bring you consistent revenue in your business. It covers what you should be doubling down on in terms of your well-being. And it is just my favorite jam-packed journal full of marketing and sales strategy to help you get clarity, but most importantly, to help you secure the biz bag. So make sure to tap on the link in the show notes. I've linked it there so that you guys can get really clear on the top hacks that you can put into play in 2024 to set yourself up for success. I hope you love it. If your life ended tomorrow, what would you regret not doing? What makes you feel alive? There has to be something that is allowing you to keep going. What would you do if no one was watching? If you had a magic wand, what would your life look like right now? What is one thing you can commit to every day that will bring you a step closer to a goal that scares the shit out of you? If money wasn't an issue, what would you do for work? This is a spicy one. Hey guys, welcome back to Banking On Cultura. I am your host, Victoria Jenn Rodriguez, with another solo episode. And today I want to talk about some of the journal entries that are keeping me afloat, that have me really thinking critically about where I am in my life right now, and also have been shared with me that I think would be really helpful for all of you. If you have your notebook, have your pen, this is your time to make sure that you gather it all up, because I want you to take note of these journal entries and answer them with your glass of wine when you are, hanging out on a Saturday after you clean the house, on a Sunday when nobody's at the house, whatever it is, whenever you have a moment to yourself, I want you to respond to these journal entries. And I'm going to share why I think these entries are important and what they have forced me to think about, right? Really challenged me to think about. So let's get into the first entry. Oh, this is a good one. So the first one is, what would you do if no one was watching? What would you do if no one was watching? If you didn't have to worry about how you look on social media, if you didn't have to think about anyone else's opinion, if you didn't have to think about your family questioning your decisions, if you didn't have to consider anyone else's thoughts in what you are doing with your life, what would you be doing if no one was watching? And this entry I got from one of the retreats that I went on. So last year I went on a few retreats. I actually spent my 40th birthday in Costa Rica at a spiritual retreat. And then I went on another retreat to Bali to bring in the new year in January 2024. And one of the amazing facilitators of those retreats, shout out to Maddie and Luna, gave this journal entry. And I was like, what would I do if no one was watching? And it took me a minute to respond to it, because so much of what I do today comprises of people watching. Like, I want people to watch. I want people to tune in. I want people to engage. I want them to see me, right? A big part of the work that I do requires people to see me, right? But what would I do if no one was watching? And I'm not talking about like picking your nose or picking a wedgie, y'all. I want you to think deeper about this. Like, what would you do if you didn't have to consider anyone else's opinion, right? And what would you do if you were just given permission to creatively do whatever the hell you wanted to do? Okay? That's the first entry. Next journal entry is, if you had a magic wand, what would your life look like right now? If you had a magic wand, what would your life look like right now? So for me, if I had a magic wand, I would definitely bring back my mom. My mom passed away a few years ago, and I miss her so, so much. And as I get older, I actually yearn for her presence even more. There's so many stories that I want to tell her and that I want her feedback on, and just to listen to her laughter. So I would do that. If I had a magic wand, I would also, if I had a magic wand, I was going to say, if I had a magic wand, I would move my dad in with me. But then I thought to myself, Victoria, you can do that. You can do that. And I guess that's the point of this journal entry, outside of obviously bringing my mom back, because that I don't have control over. But when you write down your responses to this entry, think about the things that you're listing and how much control you have of actually making those things a reality, right? Like, moving my dad in is a reality. I can make that happen tomorrow. But we'll be tight on space. So it wouldn't be the most ideal scenario. But I want you to reflect on the things that you are writing that you aspire to have if you had this magic wand, and if they are actually in your control to make it happen. Next journal prompt. What is one thing you can commit to every day that will bring you a step closer to a goal that scares the shit out of you? Ooh, this is a good one. What is one thing you can commit to every day that will bring you a step closer to a goal that scares the shit out of you? Why is this prompt important? This prompt is important because some of our goals are so outrageous and so ambitious, and that is a beautiful thing. But because they are so big and seem so far-fetched or out of reach, we procrastinate, or we allow fear to take over, and we just decide like, oh no, that's just too much of a big dream. Like, I'm not even going to pursue it at all. We get overwhelmed. We have anxiety, stress, all the things, and it just keeps us stuck. So what is that one thing that you can do every day to get you closer and closer to that big, audacious goal that you have? Because if you're able to commit to that one small thing, you are triggering your brain to say, oh, wow, this actually can be a reality. And I'm making progress towards reaching this goal that scares the shit out of me. Next entry.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Ooh, this is really good. You should know about this. So I don't know about you, but I've been known to procrastinate, especially when things scare the hell out of me. The fear alone would have me stuck, overwhelmed, confused, and all types of self-doubt. And don't even get me started on the imposter syndrome. Okay. After getting laid off, not once, but 3 times, honey, I realized that the security blanket that I made up in my head was just an excuse because I didn't really want to bet on myself. The corporate benefits that had me in that headlock, girl, they went out the window once my job decided that they no longer needed me.
Turns out that I'll save a whole nickel if I cut your salary completely.
The truth is, the only security blanket guarantee is the one that you create for yourself. In other words, until you start a business, you will always be at the mercy of a company's headcount, and you will never have complete control over your time, which means you'll be renting out your thought leadership and helping build someone else's dream instead of your own. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. Don't you think it's time you stop playing small and tap all the way into your power, sis? Click on the link to learn my 3-step process, the exact 3 steps that I took to make the transition from corporate to entrepreneurship. And this is helpful even if you don't know what type of business to start and have only one source of income. And this is absolutely free. It is my gift to you. I want you to win. It's winning season. In fact, what's that? It smells like winning season. Okay, so tap in and I'll see you inside the training. Let's go! Mi gente, I need your help. Look, the real game behind podcasts is we need to really understand our demo, aka you, our audience, so that when we go out to sponsors who help us put on this amazing show and deliver this content to you, that they can clearly understand who we serve and what is significant to you and what you value. And the only way for us to get that information is for you to give it to us. So we just created this survey. I'll put it in the show notes. It will take you less than 3 minutes, literally, but it will be so helpful for us to get a better understanding of what it is that you care about, what's important to you, what do you value, so that when we're out in these streets trying to secure the big bag and get sponsors for this show, they know exactly who our audience is and what you care about. So we can bring you the best products, we can bring you the best organizations that are out here serving the cultura, the community, you. So please take a moment and fill out the survey. I'll link it in the show notes. Appreciate you. And this is not so much a journal entry, but really an exercise for you. So I want you to track your time for 1 week. Just commit to 1 week. And when I say track your time, I mean literally every single thing that you are doing for every single minute of the day. If you go to the bathroom, track it. If you have a meeting, track it. If you are on the phone for 10 minutes, track it. Okay? I want you to track every single thing that you are doing for 1 week. And then I want you to look at how you allocated your time and ask yourself if you have time to focus on your dreams. One of the main excuses I get from women when it comes from starting or scaling up their business or doing something that really scares them or doing something that is really challenging and hard is they say they don't have the time. They don't have the time. And I always push back and be like, really? You don't got the time? And then I tell them to tell me how they are spending their time. And we discover together that, in fact, they do have the time. They are just not allocating the time to doing that thing that they want to do, but emotionally, they're like, ugh. Right? So track your time for a whole week, and then I want you to get real with yourself and see, like, do you actually have no time? Or is it that you are not spending your time wisely and with intention? Next journal entry. What does happiness mean to you? What does it look like and what does it feel like? And I want you to challenge yourself to keep anything that you've seen recently, because naturally, our natural go-to will be something that we had just saw or something we had just experienced, and we'll use that as kind of like our defining definition of what happiness is and what it should look like. I want you to try and eliminate all of that and sit down and critically think about what is it that makes you happy? What brings you joy? What makes you smile? What makes you feel alive? What makes you excited about life? And even if you're in a black hole and you might be depressed right now or you're in a funk, there has to be something that is allowing you to keep going. Maybe it's breakfast. Maybe it's a bagel, right? Maybe it's your cafecito that you have in the morning. What is it? Write it down, right? What does happiness mean to you? What does it look like? What does it feel like? Okay? Next, if money wasn't an issue, what would you do for work? This is a spicy one. If money wasn't an issue, what would you do for work? Why is this important? This is important because so many of us are living lives just keeping up with the Joneses. Like, we're literally just keeping up with the Joneses. We don't know what we really care about, what we value. We are just kind of in the routine of things, right? In the routine of things, and we pursue what we believe is going to give us peace, is going to give us happiness, is going to give us freedom, because many of us attach all of those things to having money in our bank account, right? But I want you to really critically think about what you would do if money wasn't an option. Like, if you had all the money in the world, what would you do for work? And what that will reveal to you is what you should actually work towards in some way or fashion. Maybe it's you being a philanthropist and you want to give back. Okay, if that's something you would do when money was an option and you would volunteer all day, well, maybe you need to start spending more time volunteering, right? If you would be an artist because you love to paint abstract, right? You love to create these abstract portraits that mean something to you, but from the outside, it looks like a whole bunch of just paint splattered on a wall. I always think about that when I go to museums. I'm like, these people get paid how much for this? But anywho, that's a separate conversation. But the point is, if that is what brings you joy, figure out how to do more of that and figure out how to make a life around that. Because life is meant to be lived, darling. And it is meant to be lived happy, right? All right, last and final prompt. And this one is a little gloomy, but again, the purpose of these journal prompts is to challenge you, is for you to think differently about life and for you to get real with yourself, right? Get real with yourself. So the final journal prompt, guys, is if your life ended tomorrow, what would you regret not doing? If your life ended tomorrow, what would you regret not doing? And when you identify those things and write them down, I challenge you to take action. To take action. To take action. I was listening to a podcast earlier today, and they had said that the graveyard is the wealthiest real estate in the world. And it is because so many people die with the richness of their dreams. So, if you were no longer here, what would you regret not doing? Okay, guys, I hope you find these journal entries helpful. I would love for you to share with me on social media at I am Victoria Jenn or at Banking on Cultura. If you are open to sharing it with me, I would love to read your entries and share and all the things. So let me know if you think this was helpful to you guys. And of course, please share it on social media with me so that we can have a conversation about it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next episode. Mi gente, I need your help. Look, the real game behind podcasts is we need to really understand our demo, aka you, our audience, so that when we go out to sponsors who help us put on this amazing show and deliver this content to you, that they can clearly understand who we serve and what is significant to you and what you value. And the only way for us to get that information is for you to give it to us. So we just created this survey. I'll put it in the show notes. It will take you less than 3 minutes, literally, but it will be so helpful for us to get a better understanding of what it is that you care about, what's important to you, what do you value, so that when we're out in these streets trying to secure the big bag and get sponsors for this show, they know exactly who our audience is and what you care about. So we can bring you the best products, we can bring you the best organizations that are out here serving the cultura, the community, you. So please take a moment and fill out the survey. I'll link it in the show notes. Appreciate you. Mi gente, did you enjoy this episode? Are you loving Banking on Cultura? Make sure to subscribe and follow us. Our goal is to grow this community so that we can all embrace our Latinidad, secure the big bag, and never question our cultura ever again. Please also take a moment to leave us a review. I love reading your reviews. Let me know what you are thinking, what guests we should have on, and if there are any topics you would like me to cover. I appreciate you so much for being here. Te amo mucho, and I'll check you out in the next episode.